Well, hey there, neighbor. Do you know when you go on a trip and sometimes you get the pleasure of being invited into someone's home? They sit you down for dinner and it feels so different than when you travel and you're following somebody around that has a red umbrella. Well, these 10 ways to find the right neighborhood for you are a little bit like getting invited into that house for dinner versus following around a tour guide with a busload full of tourists. When you're searching for the place to call home, it is so important to spend time finding the right neighborhood for you. And it's something that you can't really do by just touring a house. So these are 10 ways that you can start to get a feel for community and decide if it feels like home. If it's the place that you would like to call your own community and build a lifestyle, and not just have a place to live. Let's dive in. So, one of the important things to do while you're exploring neighborhoods is to do your homework. And yes, you can work with a real estate agent like myself to help you find neighborhoods that are a good fit. One thing I find is that homebuyers often have preconceived ideas about what neighborhoods they might want to live in. But there's other really great communities out there that they haven't really explored. So here's a few ways to do that. Number one is to go grocery shopping. This is a simple activity you can do, and you probably need to do it anyway. So make a little bit of an extra drive and go to the grocery store. See how it feels, visit with the neighbors, talk to your local clerk, and ask questions about the neighborhood. And, go to your local butcher. They can help you get a feel for what it's like to live in this area. It's really about experiencing the space and the place and deciding if it feels like home to you. And that's only a question that you can answer for yourself. Number two, visit local parks. There are so many amazing parks in Seattle and all over King County. And this is one area where spending time in the local parks is a great way to get a feel for a neighborhood. Right here in my neighborhood in Magnolia, we have the largest park in all of Seattle. It's about 400 acres and it's called Discovery Park. That's why all of our signs say Discover Magnolia, because we want so many people to discover this area, including Discovery Park, our most amazing park. It's waterfront. I love it. But it is not the only park in the Seattle area or in your hometown. And you can go visit those parks, spend some time there, walk around and see if you like it. If you have kids, take them to the local playground, chat with the neighbors and see what people are like. And if you love the space, then it might be a great neighborhood for you to call home. Number three, eat at local restaurants and bars. Now, depending on whether you like to eat at restaurants or if you would like to go for a drink, there's so many choices. But exploring the local restaurants and bars, again, is another way to experience a neighborhood and see if you like it. Many of our neighborhoods, especially in here in Seattle, have a wonderful village downtown core. There's Ballard, there's Capitol Hill, there is the Magnolia Village, there's the Ave in Queen Anne, and so many more. If you haven't spent time in these areas, it is a really great way to get a beat for these areas and see if you like them. Now, number four, this is an important one, especially if you are sensitive to a commute. Since so many more of us are working from home very frequently, it is one where testing the commute is important, or it might not be as important. But if a commute is important to you, go ahead and test the commute. And whenever you would normally leave for work or you normally drive home, try driving to and from a particular area and see if it is manageable for you. And if the commute is horrible, then you might have to make a decision about whether you like the neighborhood enough because you've been to the restaurants and the grocery store and the coffee shop to decide whether you want to live there and sacrifice your commute, or if it's more important to live somewhere closer to your office. Number five, if you have kids, this will be really important. And you could actually tour the schools, get in touch with locals. For some of the private schools, you might even be able to have your child attend class for a day and see what it's like. But there's so many ways to get to know the schools. Of course, there are school rating systems, so you get an idea for the quality of the schools. But I find sometimes you just need to spend a little bit of time there and get to know some of the families. You could also attend a local school event. There might be a PTA meeting you're able to call into and have a listen in, or you might be able to go to a spaghetti feed or some other sort of local event. So touring the schools, especially if you have kids, or if that's in your plans, is a great way to get to know a neighborhood and decide if it's right for you. Number 6, we're test driving the commute again. Just kidding. But again, it is important to have that perspective. Number 7, visit the local coffee shops. Local coffee shops are a great way to get to know a neighborhood. And again, you can go, maybe if you're able to work from home, you could work from a coffee shop for a day. Strike up a conversation with the barista, or, see if you can get to know some of the neighbors while you're sitting there. Who are the people that frequent the coffee shop? I find it really fascinating, the coffee culture. And every time I'm in one of my local coffee shops, it has a little bit of a different flavor. I see a lot of the same people there day after day. I recognize them. I know the baristas at my local coffee shops. So you can get a feel for a neighborhood by spending a little time in this place. Number 8, this is a really important one and something to consider, because the way you experience a community in the day versus in the evening or at night can be really different. So if you're doing your homework and you're trying to decide if a neighborhood is right for you, visit it both day and night. And this will be important. You can do this for all of these activities, but make sure you at least get a chance to go back to a neighborhood when it's in the evening or at night and see how it feels to you. Number 9, this is similar. You can do this in day or night, but if you have an animal, take your dog for a walk around the neighborhood. Now, dogs are a really great way to meet people. So are children. I find that I'm so much more approachable when I have my kids with me. But you can take your dog for a walk, or push your kids in the stroller, or just go for a walk and, check out the neighborhood. You can get a feel for it, see who's out and about. Is it important to you that people are out walking in the evenings, or that they're riding their bikes, or what kind of activity? Are their kids playing basketball in their front yards, that kind of thing? So what's going on in the neighborhood at different times of day when you're just walking around? And finally, number 10. Now, we did hint at this one a little bit earlier, but is to attend a live event. So in my local community, Vino in the Village is a great one to attend. We also have Winterfest and Summerfest. So many communities have amazing local events, and you can attend those and just hang out, interact with locals and neighbors, meet the business owners, and really get a feel for whether a community feels right to you. Ultimately, someone can make a recommendation about a neighborhood, but it is a highly personal decision, and only you can decide what's really right for you. So these are 10 ways. I guess we had 9 because one was duplicate, but 10 ways that you can find out and figure out if a neighborhood is right for you. So do these things, do your homework, and you're going to be so much more satisfied with your community. This is something I see homebuyers not spend enough time on, especially if you are relocating to a city. So if you're moving to Seattle, for example, where I am, this is something that's important. Come spend time in the neighborhoods. And I know it can be really difficult when you're just on a relocation tour to find a house, right? But you also want to find a neighborhood, because you're not just searching for a house. You're searching for a community and a place to call home. And by investing a little bit more time in that activity, you are going to have a place that is just going to bring you so much more joy and satisfaction and lifestyle than if you skip these important steps. Again, I'm Julie Bennett. I'm a Seattle real estate agent and a homeowner turned renovator. I'm doing this series as part of Renovator's Toolkit, my passion project for making renovation easier for homeowners like you. If you enjoyed this episode and you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really love to have you back here for more bite-sized real estate and renovation tips. And this is how I spread the word. So if you got some value out of this, you're relocating, or you know someone that it is, share it with them, because these are the key tools for finding a place to call home that you're going to love for the long term. And that's going to be really important. So again, go ahead and click that subscribe and like button for me. I really appreciate you. And thank you for tuning in today. Have another listen in. I'm going to have different versions of this on different channels, and I can't wait to see you back here again for another one. If you have a particular question about relocating, buying or selling your home, please put it in the comments. I would love to be able to do a live or make a video about those particular activities in the future. Thanks again, homeowner and home buyers. I will see you next time.